Assalamualaikum. My name is Adinda Azahra.
And I'm Griselina Rashidinda.
We're from 10 MIPA
6, and in this video,
we are discussing about news items. So, Rasha, would you mind telling us what a news item is?
a news item is a kind of text which informs readers about events of the day. The events in the news items are considered important, therefore it should have a newsworthy element. Journalists are typically good at deciding whether something is newsworthy or not.
The generic structure of a news item text is divided into three succinct parts, that is, newsworthy event, background event, and sources. The newsworthy event, or main event, recounts the event in the form of a summary. This summary is usually present in the headline. You know, the large titles in bold that take up a lot of space in a newspaper? Remember, a news item should be newsworthy. Hence, headlines commonly contain the newsworthy element to attract readers. For example, suppose a headline reads, "Local tree exists peacefully." Now that would be boring, wouldn't it? But if the headline reads, "Local tree grows legs and leaves town," now that is some news I'd read.
Background events elaborate what happened in the event. Especially, you can find the 5 W's and 1 H in the background event. To whom, in what circumstances, or in a nutshell, who, where, what, why, when, and how.
Lastly, news items contain sources. Sources are information or opinions that can be sourced from witnesses, persons directly involved, printed media, and/or experts of the topic of the news. The language features in a news item include action verbs, saying verbs, passive sentences, and adverbs. Action verbs are verbs that express what someone or something is doing, be it a physical or mental process. Some examples of action verbs are crash, sign, and decree. Saying verbs point to the sources of information. Some examples include said, reported, or stated. Passive sentences insinuates that the event in the news has already happened, and subsequently that news is being reported by a third party. Let's have a little review. How exactly do you form a passive sentence, you may ask? As a rule of thumb, the passive voice makes the object the subject of the sentence. For example, Peter threw the ball. In passive voice is, the ball was thrown by Peter. Notice how the verb is was added before the verb and the verb was turned into past participle.
The use of adverbs in a news item is to express the manner in which something is done more clearly. Some examples of adverbs are hastily, quietly, and assertively. One of the examples of news item is actor Didi Petet dies age 58. Veteran actor Didi Widiatmoko, popularly known as Didi Petet, died at the age of 58 at his residence in Sasak Tinggi, Ciputat, South Tangerang on Friday morning. Didi's niece Mutia Kautsar said that Didi, who starred in a number of comedy and drama films in the 1980s and 1990s, collapsed and lost consciousness when attending an expo in Milan, Italy. Recently, he just arrived home on May 10 after attending the exhibition. In that city, he collapsed and lost consciousness and returned home in a wheelchair, she said. On Tuesday, Didi was taken to Bandung for treatment. Mutia said no diseases were detected, but he died on Friday. Didi's body is laid out in his residence on Jalan Bambu Apus in Sasak Tinggi, Ciputat, South Tangerang. It has yet to be decided when and where he will be buried.
That is all. Thank you for watching. May you benefit from this information.